This is Tanmay, the founder of AGT Maps, and he has worked with clients across governments, enterprises, and public systems and has a very lean team of 7 people. The product is great, but its biggest bottleneck is
lead generation and tracking.
So today we will build a lead tracking and outreach automation system with OpenAI Codex without any coding.
But it reduces your workload dramatically.
Now before this automation, Tanmay was manually saving his leads on a Google Sheet and he was using sheet labels to track all of their statuses, and then he used to write all of the outreach messages on his own. Now he's able to sync all of his leads from his Google Sheet to this custom built CRM, add all of his sales material for himself or his sales team, compare different lead channels, and also get the first draft for his outreach pitch. If you had to do this right now manually, how much time do you think this can save you?
It can save me.
Today, we will reduce that effort by 50% and make the first version of his sales automation.
So this process actually took 5 to 10 minutes, which is unbelievable.
My name is Ansh Mehra. I'm the founder at the Cutting Edge Group. We help leaders and enterprises worldwide adopt new technology in their businesses. Welcome to episode number 1 of our brand new series, Building in Public. So without further ado, let's get started.
Hi, my name is Tanmay. I am the CEO and co-founder of AGT Map. AGT Map is a conversational map that lets you understand any location, any neighborhood in the world by simply asking the map. I started AGT Map because I believe that the world runs on location-based decisions. So our vision is to democratize location intelligence. How this works? Simply search for any area and you ask the map to, let's say, flag and forecast villages with the highest groundwater level. Or let's say if you're setting up business, you can simply ask the map if this is a good location or does it look busy. Now we work across multiple sectors because location decision is critical to various sectors, and where the biggest bottleneck at this current stage of my business is lead generation and tracking, mainly to track the lead. So my expectation to have some sort of unified system around tracking my entire lead system.
So in general, where do you get your leads from?
LinkedIn is one of the source.
Okay.
And the second one is referrals. The third is we do have channel distributors.
Okay. So at least the lead information is digital.
Right.
You have a digital space where you can invest, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of these informations, right? So you are currently catering to big businesses. This is not a B2C product. It's a B2B
It's not
product.
a B2C, yeah.
So as soon as Tanmay told me about his sources for leads, my first thought was that how do we collect all of this information properly? Because the source of your leads or this lead funnel should be very compatible with any automation that we create for Tanmay. Right. So when you get a lead, what all information do you have of this lead? Because on LinkedIn, how much do they even share?
Generally, what happens is once they have any interest, they book a demo. So once they book a demo, on that demo, it's like a very detailed discussion where we discuss their use cases. And once they are satisfied with the use cases and the product, then we move ahead with how do we go about it? What is the engagement model?
Now, all of his leads get converted in stages. So this entire automation should not only collect leads or label them, but also help Tanmay as a founder track the status of his leads. Right now, he's acting like a one-man army. He is making the content, he's finding the leads, he's talking to them, he's basically everywhere. So this 110% cannot scale. So whatever automation that we will build today should be compatible with more people joining the sales team for Tanmay. So this version 1 is not going to be very advanced because Tanmay will need some time to digest and understand Codex step by step. But this version 1 will still save him at least 18 to 20 hours of effort every single month. So right now, I'm going to be sitting with my team. We'll think about how this entire process should look like.
Okay.
We'll brainstorm first because anytime you build something with AI, the first step is the human has to think about the problem.
Yeah.
Before you build anything, you need to write down the core purpose of why are you even building the automation. AI agents can help you with the what and the how, but you need to use your RI, your real intelligence, to define the why. कंपनी के पास बहुत सारी लीड्स आती है. लीड्स मेजरली अभी लिंक्डइन से आ रही है, ओनली टेक्स्ट फॉर्म डेटा है. इनको लीड्स को ऑर्गेनाइज करना है, उनको ट्रैक करना है. इनफैक्ट एक एडिशनल फीचर वी शुड ऐड दैट द फर्स्ट ओपनिंग मैसेज और एनी ऑफ देयर प्रपोजल मटेरियल, एनी ऑफ देयर सेल्स मटेरियल शुड बी अवेलेबल ऑन दिस CRM so that if he or any new sales member joins in, they have a first draft for that sales outreach as well.
Now I'm imagining in this platform we should have 3 pages. The first one is dashboard, second one is pipeline, in which we'll have a Kanban board to move the leads inside and out, and the third one is the email generator. Now I also want a authentication page because then only it will be too secure. Otherwise, everyone will be able to see that lead. And once we have everything ready, we'll also add a functionality to import leads from Google Sheets directly.
ठीक है, और कुछ recommend करते हो आप?
No, I think once we see the first draft, then only we'll realize that how this can be deployed as well.
Okay. See, Tanmay is a very non-technical guy, so he would not even know how to make a PRD in the first place. So, ये जो आपने first step बताया, PRD making. Now let's deep dive into this. Now, this entire process of making a PRD or a product requirement document helps you get clarity on how your automation system should behave in your business. Now, there's a 3-part process that we will follow. Number 1, we will share our requirements with ChatGPT and get the first draft for our PRD. Codex is now a part of ChatGPT itself. So using Codex has become even more simpler. Then we will decide how our automation looks like visually in general by building something that we call a design system. This system will lock the rules for our color palette, typography, iconography, our button systems, so that whatever apps or new features that Tanmay or Tanmay ka team adds, they all look and feel uniform and systematic. In the end, we will sit with Tanmay and use OpenAI Codex to build the entire solution end to end. How do we make the PRD?
Correct. So for PRD, we only need a clarity on what we need to build. So as I decided that we need to build 3 pages, so we'll define it to ChatGPT that we need a dashboard page, we need a pipeline page, and we need a email generator page. Now, because I also know that I want to keep it secure, I'll also tell it in a natural language that I also want an authentication page.
Okay.
Once the authentication is done, then I'll move this PRD to Codex.
Can you show me how does the process look like?
So the first step is to go to ChatGPT and describe our business and idea to create a PRD document.
All right, so we are building a CRM for AGT maps. They basically help people do decision making on the basis of their geography. Right now, their leads are coming from LinkedIn and some informal channels, but they put it all together into a Google Sheet. They want to build a platform where they can store the leads, organize the leads, also create like a first draft to send them a message. We're all like non-technical people, so we want to figure out the PRD for this, especially the first version of how the platform should look like with authentication. So tell me everything that we should build here. You can also ask me any questions if needed to get more clarity.
So now we have our initial prompt ready. I'll simply click on enter. And now ChatGPT will create a PRD document for us, or maybe a first prompt.
So for everybody watching this, I want to emphasize on this specific step here. Most people take results from AI and use it as their finish line. But the right way to use AI is to read all of these outputs and consider them as your baseline. All right, so I can see that it has added like a bunch of different sectors, pipeline, stage chart. I feel like for the first version, we don't need so much, right? So I think the correct way to approach this is that whatever this PRD has been given, let's read everything and let's give some feedback to the GPT model so that we can just have some basic stuff, because I don't want to waste too much time building something and then realizing that it's not useful.
Yeah.
Right. So let's start small. Let's build like a normal CRM. ये अब हमको PRD मिल गया. What we will do is let's take this. Let's sit with Tanmay now.
तो ये हमारा कोडेक्स का इंटरफेस है. हम स्किल फाइल भी इसके अंदर बनाएंगे, बट मैं एक बार वॉक थ्रू दे देता हूँ कि इसमें ये सब है क्या. ये हमारा मेन प्रॉम्प्ट बॉक्स है. हम यहाँ पे डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि आस्क फॉर अप्रूवल होना चाहिए जब भी हम कुछ प्रॉम्प्ट दे, अप्रूव फॉर मी होना चाहिए, या फिर फुल एक्सेस होना चाहिए. फुल एक्सेस
ये क्या हुआ? आस्क फॉर अप्रूवल, अप्रूव फॉर मी.
ठीक है. तो जब भी कोडेक्स आपके बेसिस पे काम करता है या कुछ भी एक कमांड रन करता है आपके सिस्टम पे, तो वो हमेशा पहले पूछता है दैट शुड आई रन दिस कमांड और शुड आई ओपन दिस डॉक्यूमेंट. तो वो आस्क फॉर अप्रूवल पे आता है. हमें हमेशा आस्क फॉर अप्रूवल पे रखना चाहिए ताकि हम देख पाए कि कोडेक्स क्या रन कर रहा है.
ओके.
सेकेंड ऑप्शन है हमारा मॉडल सेलेक्ट करने का. अभी लेटेस्ट मॉडल है GPT 5.5. इसमें हम एफर्ट लेवल और रीजनिंग लेवल सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. लो और मीडियम है हमारे सॉफ्टवेयर और बेसिक चीजें बनाने के लिए. हम इसको सिर्फ हाई और एक्स्ट्रा हाई तभी करेंगे जब हमको एक्स्ट्रा रीजनिंग चाहिए. Now there are few additional settings in the prompt box as well, which is selection of your project. This is your main project where you will work. This is a project or the folder on your system. There's an option to select work locally or to work on a GitHub repository. GitHub is nothing but Codex web connected that can store your code base. Now, once you have understood how this prompt box works, on the left side you have navigation, which includes your projects and additional feature from Codex. We have new chat, we have search, we have plugins. Plugins are nothing but external connectors to your Codex.
Achha.
One of the example of plugin is Gmail or your Google Calendar.
Oh, so you can connect this thing to your Gmail.
Correct. So if I click on plugin, you can see that these are all the plugins available. Now after this, we also have automations. This helps you run a particular task on Codex on daily basis. Now Codex Mobile is a new feature from Codex that enables you to operate Codex from your mobile.
So for this feature, my system should be turned on.
Correct.
And I can be anywhere.
Yeah.
I just have to prompt on my give a prompt on my phone, and it will take it forward.
Correct.
So folks, before we move ahead, instead of directly jumping to Codex to build something, step number 1 is to audit your security settings. OpenAI is one of those rare AI companies that allow you to keep your data private and excluded from their training data. But those settings are not fixed in Codex. Those are fixed in your ChatGPT account. All of you will have your own OpenAI account, and whatever settings you put in that one OpenAI account are applied to your Codex, to your ChatGPT, and any other future product that OpenAI releases.
What type of data will it use?
Any conversation that you get with ChatGPT, it can use for its model training.
All right. And by default, it's off.
So in some accounts it's on, and in some accounts it's off.
Okay.
So it's always important to double check.
Right.
Now going back to our Codex account, I'll simply go back to my project section and then simply click on new project. Now we'll be starting from scratch. I'll name this AGT CRM.
So this was a project and not a chat.
So inside a project, you get multiple chats. Because now if I click on this button, I get a new chat. So as I mentioned earlier, we are currently missing a design file. So what we can do is simply enter this $sign and you get all the options that are available inside this Codex. So $sign is your shortcut. So when I search for skill creator, you can see that's my first option.
All right.
This enables you to create a skill based on your idea. So I'll simply click on this skill creator and then prompt this. So I'll switch on this audio option and then I'll instruct what kind of design files or design system I want for my system. Hi ChatGPT, I own a business known as AGT Map. It's an AI conversational platform. I'm creating a CRM for this. Now I want to create a design system skill for this, in which I want a light theme. I also want inter-typography. I also want that it should have reusable components throughout. Now please create this design file for me and name it AGT Design System.
Huh. So you don't even need any technical knowledge.
So we are from a product industry, so we knew that, typography hona chahiye, design system hona chahiye. But you, in the prompt itself, if you mention that I have no clue about how this works, if you have any questions, ask me.
So now anytime you get a new feature idea, even for your main app, you can ask Codex to build it for you and then share it with your technical team, because then they'll have a direction to work on. Now this usually takes 5 to 10 minutes to create this skill file. Okay, so now you can see that we have two outputs. One is the number of edited files that it created for you. These are all the coding files. And the second one is AGT Design System. Now, if I had to open this design system, I'll simply click on this and now you can see what it has created. It's a simple text file or a .md file, which is markdown. And it tells exactly what should be included in your app. All the typography, all the sections, the light theme tokens, everything.
So जैसे you have your .doc file for a document,
right?
This is a .markdown file.
Okay.
It is just the simplest language that a human can read and a machine can understand. So earlier, when languages were very new, we had markup languages. So HTML, the language which is used to make websites.
Python and stuff.
So HTML ka full form was hypertext markup language.
Acha.
So then they realized that we have to make this easy because not everybody can write HTML.
Right.
So now they have created Markdown. So it's almost like English.
Yeah.
But it's easy for the computer and for us to understand.
Okay, so just that the format is different. But it's
the language is pretty much simple. So you've clicked on that and this is the entire document. So it has already given you the baseline of how the product should visually look like with fonts and everything.
Okay.
Now let me show you how you can actually build stuff on Codex. What I'll do is now start a new chat. So now I'll simply copy this prompt that was created after our brainstorming session. I'll go to Codex. Now in the Codex, I'll simply paste it and then I'll type $AGT design system and say use this design system to build this CRM. As simple as that. Now Codex will deploy multiple agents internally. One will work on front end, which is how your UI will look.
Right.
One is one on back end, how you will store the data. And another one will work on how Google Sheets will be connected.
Right. So it's like having the entire technical team.
Earlier, when we had these tools, वो piece by piece करते थे.
Yeah.
So you would make the front end, then the back end.
Right.
But now, like, front end is happening either, back end is
It
happening
was
either.
still very fragmented.
Yeah, and it was in a line. Now it's not a line. It's like parallel lines
Right.
building something.
Now this usually takes 5 to 10 minutes based on the software size.
Before this started, आपने कभी सुना है, anybody has told you about like AI building apps? Did you have interest in this? Did you try it on your own?
So I constantly have ideas that I want to build upon, but yeah, the bottleneck remains that I have to be dependent upon some sort of technical guy, like in my case, my CTO and my technical team. I also tried to learn coding, but I soon realized it's not for me. And then yeah, I was doing some sort of vibe coding here and there, but even like you mentioned that पहले क्या होता था, it was very fragmented. Like अगर मैं वो करता भी था तो मतलब the output was not as good. वो वाली चीज थी.
And what has been your educational background? Nothing about tech. What did you study?
Purely marketing.
Okay, purely marketing.
Yeah, yep.
And did you ever plan कि, maybe I should hire someone? Have you tried hiring some tech folks, or is just the CTO who takes care of it?
So the CTO, right now we do have some interns, but interns के साथ भी बात किया है, the whole thing is that I have to, give them direction. वो visualize तो मुझे ही करना पड़ता है. And now, probably with this, what I'm able to feel is that I can just, create that initial prototype that I can hand it over to them, and that would remove friction and it would be super convenient even for them and for me. Like, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay, so now you can see that Codex has an output. You can simply click on this URL to view how it looks. So now you can see that there is no UI with Codex. While working on big projects, Codex sometimes run into few errors. You might not able to see some text. It can be some render issue.
Is this our fault? Did this happen because of the prompt, or like how do we know? Or we should just tell ki, okay, fix it yourself.
So this is not because of prompt. This happens because when a model is working on a large context, it might miss something while compiling all the stuffs and coding. So I'll simply give a voice prompt to fix everything. So hi ChatGPT, I cannot see any colors or any design on my dashboard. Please fix it as all the CSS is missing and fix all the errors that you might find in the way. And then I'll simply click on enter. So now it started with a CSS mark. It says that I've been using Tailwind and Post CSS. Now don't worry, these are all the coding languages that it uses.
Let's say if I'm talking to it to debug anything or to ask it to fix anything, do I have to use these terms like CSS, or I can just write that please fix whatever went wrong?
See, I think you need to have some basics sorted for sure. Right?
Okay.
Like we regularly tell people that if you want to use AI properly, you need to know the first principles and the vocabulary
Okay.
to describe those first principles.
Right.
Another way that can be, if you don't know any coding languages or anything, you simply take a screenshot out of it. You say that this is what I see, this is what I expected.
Oh,
And then it can debug what went wrong.
okay. So it has that spatial awareness to
Yeah,
actually go
it
through the
has,
image.
yeah.
Okay.
So now you can see that it's now asking for my permission. I can either select yes or I can select yes for all times. Also on the right side, you can see that you have few settings, which is environment, browser, and sources. So if you would have uploaded any documents or have asked ChatGPT or Codex to work across your documents on your system, then that will appear in sources. Or maybe it will have taken reference from another web application that then comes under sources.
Okay.
So that you can verify how is this data coming to Codex. Environment is your development phase. In local, you are working on your local system. Once we deploy this, you can see that environment is now changed to production. Browser is what it can access to verify your changes. Anything that is in code needs a UI to be displayed.
Right.
Now that works on your browser. It's a HTTP response.
Another thing for anybody technical who's watching these videos is that we have not covered all the functionalities with GitHub and Codex. For anybody who's not technical, I would strongly recommend you to go through some fundamentals of how Git and GitHub works in the description of this video. That basic understanding will help you out understand what are branches and how do you commit changes, because that fundamental understanding will also build your vocabulary and you will be able to use something like Codex in a much better way.
Correct. Now we can see that it has created another draft for us. I'll simply click on 3000 and now I can see a display. Now it's still pretty vague. What I'll do is I'll simply open this up on my Chrome browser. And this is my admin dashboard. Now currently my email is already registered because I'm working on my local system. But when I go on deployment or make it production ready, I'll make it to be more sensitive. I'll define the mail, I'll define the password. Now let's click on continue and this is my dashboard. You can see that it has created dashboard, pipeline, email drafter, leaderboard, as well as team. Now currently all of this data is empty, which means 0. It's very important for us to now connect our Google Sheets, which contains our data. So what we have done is we have created a sample Google Sheet. So this is our sample data. Now every entry here is a demo, but I'll simply go to share and copy this link. Now based on my description, this CRM will be able to get all the imports from this sheet.
So you don't even have to upload the sheet. You can directly just copy paste the link.
Correct. And you also have an option to refresh data.
Okay.
Which means that you can also set it to be refreshed at a given time every day.
Right, because I would keep on updating my sheet.
Correct. So now I'll simply click on load sheets. And now you have R28 number of leads.
So does it have to be in a specific template, the sheet that I have to create, my lead sheet, or could it be just my existing sheet that I use and I can upload it?
Okay, a great question. So when you have a particular format for your sheets, either while development, you can define what columns do you have, or you can ask it to map all the first name, last name, and company's name. So Codex is pretty smart. It will deploy a function for you inside the code itself. Even if you write first name in your sheets, even if you write name on your sheets, it can be first name, last name, everything can be compiled into one unit. Now our dashboard is pretty clear. The progress overview is still a straight line. This is because we have not yet moved to pipeline. Once I am in pipeline, you can see that this is the Kanban board that ChatGPT or Codex has created for me. I get an option to move this to contacted. I also get an option to move this to qualified. Now this will help Tanmay to keep a track on all the leads. So now once I have changed all this in the dashboard, you can see that this also shows that all the leads were identified. You have new, you have contacted, you have qualified. And if I scroll down a little bit, you also get a leads by source column, which means that where are these leads coming from? It can be LinkedIn, it can be Facebook, or any other entry that you have on your Google Sheets, because sometimes it can be a referral.
So this thing that you built, the Kanban board, did you instruct this in the prompt or?
So basically, when we were doing the brainstorming, we were just figuring out, okay, how can this platform look like? So this is where the PRD comes in.
Okay.
That, okay, can you please tell me what all features should I have? And then we were like, okay, the Kanban board feels good, right? And for everybody else, we'll be copy pasting this exact prompt in the description of this video so that you can also build your own similar CRM. So it's super important because it all starts with you having that clarity in the PRD stages. That is something that 5.5 cannot do for you.
Yeah.
Right? That is your role.
And I think that is where I'm good at,
Yeah.
So let's see if we are able to refresh our data. Currently, we have 28 leads, right? I'll go to Google Sheets. I'll copy any one of the last rows. And then I'll change the name to Tanmay, for example. I'll change the email as well. Now, there is a reason why I am changing the email and name. Because I have made a check in my coding that if these columns are duplicate, then you don't add it.
Because maybe your sales team and you add the same person's lead.
Oh, right.
That should not be counted as an extra lead.
Correct.
Quite intelligent. Yeah.
So now if I go to CRM, I'll find refresh data. And now I have 29 leads. It also shows a toaster or pop-up that now you have new leads. Now it has also included an email drafter. Now I mentioned what AGT map does. So that's your business context. Now based on this, it has created a first draft for you, which includes subject or how we can help that business. I can simply select this and change it to any lead. And it's completely dynamic. You'll have your first draft ready. You can also select a tone. So I don't think so tone currently works, but if we change it in the prompt, it will work. So sometimes while building your prototype, Codex also tries to add some new features. you'll have to check all the buttons, all the features before deploying it to production, because then only you can be sure that your CRM works.
So how did it draft this entire email? Like, what is the context?
Okay, so while building the PRD, we suggested that it should have an email drafter page.
Okay.
But then it asked, what should an email drafter do? It's same as what Ansh mentioned.
Right.
That once you create a PRD, ask ChatGPT to ask questions back.
Right.
So it asked, how do you want it to be? So there are two main things while we are reaching out. One is our business context, what we do. Second is how we can help their business with our solution.
And this email has been written using OpenAI models only.
Okay, that is what.
So now it is writing a prompt for itself.
Right.
And then feeding that prompt, you have given the business context, it has somebody's name, and now it is putting all those things together.
So is it also doing some research?
No. So if I go to the sheet, you have company. If I were to add the company category or the company niche,
Right.
then it can just assume that a steel manufacturer or a real estate developer might need something like this.
Okay.
So those are small tweaks, but do not ask a very complex research thing in that email drafter feature as well. Otherwise, that becomes very heavy. So the better thing is that you put all the context here in terms of words.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, just do like a simple intelligent analysis and just give like a basic draft assuming that, Globex is a real estate firm.
Okay.
How would that basic email look like? But even then, right, the email is your first draft.
Right.
You still need a human being to sort of do their own research and build on top of it.
But it reduces your workload to like dramatically.
How many, if you had to do this right now manually, on a per day basis, how much time do you think this can save you?
Can save me.
Yeah, like 1 hour, 1.5 hours.
No, I think all the time that I have, like, it can save me because this is actually my biggest workflow, and I have to do it every other day. But that is what I think I can't be consistent. Like, it's just very hard for me to be consistent, especially when it's a tedious task. So something which I have to do routinely can be like replicated where I get some sort of draft and I can take it forward.
And is this the first time you're seeing something like this?
Yeah, like to this extent, the output to this extent is, because I've used AI here and there. That is also, my company is all about AI. So I do learn about AI, I'm using it, but it's all about the quality which is not there yet that I felt. But with this thing, it's just, it's...
And do you feel that this is possible for you? Because I don't think it's very difficult.
It's very much possible for me, yeah.
Like building something like this. So I think now that assume that this entire thing is sorted and we've done like the entire prototyping and the features are good to go, the last step is about deploying this.
Oh.
If you notice on the top left corner, it says local host, which means this entire app is only residing on this laptop. Nobody else can use this.
Locally hosted.
Yeah. So now if you want to share this with the rest of your team members, we need to deploy it. So now Rohak will teach us how you can deploy this entire thing.
Okay, so before I deploy this, I'll tell you what the dependency is. So if I go to my Codex now, I switch off this preview, I open this site tab, and I just kill this server for now. You see, now I have killed the server. I have all the coding files, I have all the dashboard with me. Now if I go back to my Chrome and I've hit a refresh, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Which means that every time you need to run this, you have to have Codex, you need to have a server, but this can be fixed with the help of plugins. There are multiple plugins inside Codex. So what are plugins? Plugins are your ability to connect external applications to Codex. One of the plugin is Vercel. Vercel helps you in the deployment part.
Also, if you are on ChatGPT's business plan, you can deploy your projects straight through Codex sites with controlled access.
So the first thing that you should have is Vercel logged in on your browser, because then only you'll have an account on Vercel. So to create a Vercel account, you need a simple Google login and then it will be ready. Once you have your Vercel account created, then you can go to Codex and see how Vercel can be created. If I go back to Codex, I'll simply click on Add Plugin, and now it says Adding Vercel. It's a very simple process. Before this, you had to connect multiple APIs, multiple MCP servers, but now it's a simple click away. I'll click on Continue to Vercel, and it will redirect me to the authentication page. It says that these are all the permissions we need. This is the project that I'll select. I'll simply click on Add, and then Allow. Now it asks me for going back to Codex. Now in my Codex, I have my Vercel ready. Before this, deployment had to be pretty reasonable, pretty tough, because you had to define what servers you need, what domain you need. But if you're just building a prototype, it should not be very tough. So if I go back to this and I type in use @ so as soon as I enter @, this shows me all my plugins.
Okay.
So it's a shortcut.
Okay.
Use Vercel and deploy this platform, and that's it. Now ChatGPT will work for me. It will define all the pipelines, all the domain. It will give you a temporary domain for now, which you can obviously connect your .com or .ai by going to Vercel's dashboard. But it's super interesting because now you will have a dashboard and a public URL to work on it.
And where would it be hosted?
It will be hosted on Vercel servers. So just like AWS, just like Google, Vercel also owns some of the servers.
So do you need a separate paid plan on Vercel also?
No, you don't need a Vercel paid plan because temporary hosting is available on Vercel for free.
And if I like make this app like professional and like try to sell it to other people, then also Vercel is doing it for free?
So now if you want more customers, a large database, then Vercel takes your cut for it. Because then only you can manage everything. You can have your environment variables, which is your security keys. So that comes with a Vercel paid plan. But Vercel is only one of the plugins available inside Codex. You can select your Gmails, you can select your Sheets, you can select another deployment platforms as well. So now you can see that it says that Vercel CLI path, the CLI is interactive path. This all used to take a lot of time. You had to need a deployment or the DevOps engineer for all this.
And how much time does this take?
It usually takes 5 minutes. Okay, so this is now your deployed link. I can simply click on this and it will open this dashboard on my browser. Now this one doesn't have leads because we have not yet imported. What I'll do, I'll simply go to this, copy this link again and go back to my deployed dashboard and then paste it. This time you can see that it's not a local host. It's a deployed Vercel link. And then I'll click on load sheets and now you have your data. So now this link can be shared across all your team members and now you can start using this CRM.
So this process actually took 5 to 10 minutes, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. So the only thing is you need to have clarity and direction before working.
Right.
It's the same as working with human employees.
Exactly.
If you give a complete SOP, which is your skill file, if you give complete resources, which is your plugins, then Codex will be able to create this.
So I constantly have ideas that I want to build upon, but the challenge is I have to rely on my CTO and my technical team in order to build such ideas. But now with Codex, I truly believe that, you're just able to talk to it in your own natural language and it builds that initial prototype which you can send over to your technical team and your CTO and they can build on top of it, which is like super convenient even for them and for me.
So folks, as you saw, just like Tanmay, you can be one of many business owners who can save hours of their time, thousands of hours for your entire team in a year if you know how to build these AI tools on your own. Now, this is the first time that we actually got an entrepreneur to solve his or her problems in real time. If you want us to solve your problems as well, we have shared a link in the description. Do fill that form for us. If you want to win the ChatGPT Pro plan worth $10,699, go through the giveaway details in the description and submit your Codex project through the form link below. Winners will be selected in the next 10 days. Do let me know in the comment section if you like this series and if you want us to work on more specific problem statements for your business. Make sure you click on the subscribe button so that you never miss an update. With that being said, I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This is your dost Ansh Mehra and you are learning from the Cutting Edge School.